The question is, what does the future hold?
My hope is that there is a convergence between sectors, and particularly the for-profit and the nonprofit sector. Not in the traditional, like, we should use business models in the nonprofit worlds, which, like, we should, but but in the way that the negative externalities of capitalism start to be internalized, and there's much more meaningful accountability of the impact that for-profit companies have, such that there is a convergence of purpose between for-profit and nonprofit. I don't know if that's what the future holds, but it'd be nice.
And can you imagine a concrete manifestation of that?
Well, I think we're seeing the sort of first sort of seeds of that with the kind of B Corps and social purpose businesses. But I think the question is whether this sort of wave of like millennials care about the impact and the companies that they join, whether that is going to translate into actual new ways of doing business.
It's interesting. I was going to think about sort of the notion of reconciliation. And, I think about reconciliation obviously around issues of race, but also just like all the ways we could choose to be reconciling. Yeah. I mean, even some version of what you talked about is like, how do you reconcile capitalism with humanism, right? And so, what I've become really interested in is where are there places of authentic shared values that we could tend to and start to elevate, but also create political leverage around. And this question of, could health be one of those spaces? What is the most important quality of a good leader?
I think I have to go with empathy. It is completely insufficient.
Necessary but insufficient.
Necessary but wildly insufficient. But I actually think like the difference between a leader and a good leader in a lot of ways comes down to empathy. The ability to be empathetic for and with the folks that your leadership is impacting, whether it's internal to your organization or external. Something that I've struggled with and worked on. But I think the moments when I have really been able to access empathy are the moments when I make the best decisions, or empower other people to make better decisions than I could have made.
That's awesome. I think for me, it's around curiosity and appetite, desire, willingness to learn. I think like it just opens up everything in some ways. And I think one of the real tensions around leadership is when do you learn and when do you actually have to make choices, right? Like the accountability of saying, and still we need to move forward, and how do we do that?
'Cause you can never know everything you need to know.
Totally, and I think like that, and that's really hard. I mean, just like one of the things I think of great leaders is like knowing how long and sort of how fully to stay curious, and then when actually to say, okay, like this requires the courage of being willing to make decisions, knowing that, let's be honest, almost everything is still unknowable. And how do you hold both of those imperatives in a way that allows the work to evolve, but also like have impact in a unit of time that matters to human beings?
Yeah.